The thing I've come to discover about church and pastoring, it requires the most intentionality because it's a sensitive space. Church requires a certain level of vulnerability that I don't think we are sufficiently equipped to show that level of vulnerability. And then there is a misconception that to build connections in the places of church, I need to achieve some certain level of perfection, which in church language we call holiness. The barrier for connection is mostly perfection, and wanting to present ourselves a certain way, which is deception. It's not what Jesus really expects from us. It's not what Christianity really is, and yet we have made it that way. Yeah. Shalom, we can't connect spiritually if we haven't connected personally. I can't, because spiritual connection is really opening my heart to you, and I need to know that I can trust you, and I need to know that I'm safe with you. The personal connection becomes the pathway to spiritual connection, so the personal connection has to be healthy. Yeah. I think discipleship is about helping people to grow in love. And I think we don't talk about love in church enough. We talk about the love of God. And we talk about for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And we talk about 1 Corinthians 13, all the things that love is patience, love is kind. Yeah. But how that is practical, the practicalities of love in the spaces of relationships in church, I don't think we do a good job of speaking about it. How do I love you enough to protect you? How do I love you enough to care for you? How do I love you enough to not embarrass you and things? And I think the church should teach it, but I think it's a fundamental ingredient of any human relationships anywhere, that we owe each other a measure of love that then protects, cares, and builds trust. That I can't take advantage of your vulnerability. I can't take advantage of your broken situation and put you down completely. Instead, a loving thing would be, what do I need to do to build you, to lift you up?
Hello, welcome to yet another episode of Connecting Generations. And today we are talking about a place where we blur the line about connection and also make mistakes as far as boundaries is concerned. And this is on the spiritual front and the influence, just basically seeing the influence that spirituality has on our connections as humans. Joining me today is somebody who has challenged me to be better, do better, and therefore we have connected on a personal level. And I'll be just having a conversation with him about spirituality, connecting personally, not just spiritually, but why him? Because he's a pastor and he will tell us a whole lot more about what he does. So Pst Olunga, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much, Shalom, for having me.
Yeah, tell us a bit about yourself.
It's great to see that you're doing this.
And what you do. Thank you.
Interesting that you would say, I've challenged you to do better, be better. I'm like, what are you saying? I've been challenged by you, but thank you for having me. My name is Olunga. What I do is I am a pastor at Nairobi Chapel South in South Sea. This is a church plant of Nairobi Chapel. I am married to Wanjiro, 7 years this year. 7 is the number, so the Lord is perfecting our marriage. I'm telling you, 7 is a number of perfection. But it's a good year. I can say I'm happily married. That's not something I find that is hard to say for many people these days.
Happy and married, they don't go together.
You're either happy or you're married. Either happy or you're married. But I thank God that I have both. I'm a son, I'm a friend, and above all, I love Jesus. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. I like that you're saying you're a son, you're a friend, you're a husband.
Yeah.
You're a mentor?
I'm a mentor.
Yes.
A discipler. Yeah. Okay. In fact, today, when this is happening, I've just come from meeting I have on Friday mornings with a group of people that we are doing a discipleship journey together. So it's good that you would ask that. I've just come from
having one such session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice. How do you manage to balance your role?
Yeah.
In all those different connections?
Balance.
Okay, maybe balance might be the wrong word. Let's just call it manage.
Yeah, manage. Balance is hard. I've come to discover that at my age and all the things I need to do, balance is hard to find. And so I find that I'll pour myself into one thing for a season, as much as I'm needed to pour myself into it. And then there are seasons that I'll pour myself into other things. And even in just one day, I'll find that there'll be more time I need to pour into one thing. And then tomorrow on the same thing, I'll pour less time. And that's how I'm able to do all the things that I do. And it's also a struggle because one of the things I'm learning is about myself is my poverty in the management of time.
That sounds like you're hiding the truth. What do you mean by your poverty in the management of time?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I manage time well because of all the things I need to do and schedule. So sometimes I'll go overboard on something and do something longer than I need to do it, or give more time on one thing, or I hold a master's in procrastination. So sometimes I'll procrastinate a bit, and it's it's a work in progress in there. But I try the best I can to do all the things that I need to do as far as my role as a pastor, a husband, a family man, a person who works for an organization that needs my time.
Because there's also that. There's the fact that you're a pastor and then you are working for an organization.
I am working for an organization.
Yeah.
People wonder, what do pastors do?
Yeah.
What do pastors
just come and
Monday,
pray for me anytime I want.
Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday. There's actually, I go to the office 8 to 5 from Tuesday. And then, Tuesday to Friday, Saturdays, I'm all over the place. I'll be visiting a family, or is a day for conducting weddings and all those kinds of things. And then Sunday is a full day of ministry. Okay. And those are spaces that require my time. And I am paid to give that time. Yeah. Even though I'm pastoring, and I need to manage that well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
And your employer had better not act on it. But would you do this for free?
Would I do what I'm doing for free?
Yeah.
Please don't share this podcast with my employer. But I would do this for free.
Yeah.
I would. Let me tell you that, growing up, children want to be different things.
Yes.
I know you've had conversations with children. There's a time they want to be a lawyer, and then they want to be a pilot, and then at some point they want to be a musician and whatever. I've had all those things. I've had all those desires growing up. But I remember that the thing that was constant for me from the time I was 7 years old and I came to know Christ is that I wanted to be a pastor.
Okay.
And so I sense that the calling to ministry has been with me for the longest time. And I have I've done other things. I've worked in places. I've worked out of the country. I've had some good experience, but I don't think that I've enjoyed doing anything as much as I've enjoyed being a pastor.
Okay.
And, the reason for me, this is something I would do for free without the batting of an eyelid, is I get a front row seat to see what God is doing in people's lives. Some of it is really good. You're there when a couple is getting married. You walked with them through premarital counseling and you join them. You are there when a couple that has prayed for a child for a long time finally embraces this child and they call you to dedicate the child. Or someone quit their job and they started a business and they're very excited and you're there in the moment of that excitement to pray with them and dedicate the business. Those are beautiful, beautiful moments of joy in ministry. But there are also difficult moments. You're there when people die, when people get sick, when marriages are struggling. You're there. And to walk that journey with people is absolutely rewarding on either side, whether it's in celebration or in grief. It's very fulfilling. And so, yes, I would do it for free.
Yeah. And the reason, I guess, why I'm asking that question is because there's a misconception out here that pastors, quote unquote, don't do much. And if it's a call, like you're saying, it's a call that you answered, it really should be for free. But having worked also in the church setting, I know it cannot be for free because this is your everyday. There's a compensation that is needed. You have needs as a person.
Absolutely.
That need to be met. And they need to be met, a lot of them financially. And therefore the compensation would need to be necessary. But talk to us then about some of the disconnection and disagreements and conflict that comes about when people are taken advantage of because they're supposed to do something for free.
And I think it's a good thing to talk to a pastor about this, because I think it goes both ways. That the church, because it's a calling, the church can take advantage of the pastor. And the church can also take advantage of its members and want them to do a lot for free.
And the members also take advantage of pastors.
And the members also take advantage of pastors and want them to do things for free. Even as I've answered the question you asked and said, yes, this is something I would do for free. I'm saying that only because of what I owe God. But the truth is that at the end of the day, I'm married. And
you're somebody's son.
I'm somebody's son.
You have obligations.
I have obligations. I have bills to pay at the end of the month. I don't pay rent by miracle signs and wonders.
I'd love to see that happen.
it's money. I don't tell my landlord I'll pray for you. But when it's time to pay the rent, it's time to pay the rent. And yet I leave my house as just the same way someone who works at a bank or somewhere else would leave their house at in the morning and come back in the evening. I think it's fair that I can show some compensation for the time I put in. And it's a fair expectation for me. To have that expectation that the time I put in would be compensated in a way. However, I don't want to say I'm on a salary. Just as someone, again, who works in a bank or
in any
organization,
organization
is on a salary. I don't want to come to a place where I would say I'm going to pray for someone and I have an expectation that praying or visiting or being with a grieving family or thing that I expect to be compensated. My salary, my employer has done the best they can to ensure I am fairly compensated and fairly facilitated so that I'm able to take all the responsibilities and burdens of ministry that I need to take care of. And in a way then, the people who I shepherd care for that because I'm paid from what they give. So they don't if my congregant were to call me now and say come and be with me, I'm going through something or the other, I would go back to what my employer has paid me to facilitate my movement from one end of the city to
go
another, because that's really
Yes.
what I am paid. I'm paid to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I know there are places that pastors are taken advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
but I am grateful that I haven't felt that way.
Yeah.
My congregation has done a good job of being generous to ensure that as a pastor, I am well compensated and facilitated, so I'm able to do the works of ministry that I need to do for them, as well as the other pastor colleagues that I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now then, that's looking at it from quote unquote corporate level.
Yeah.
Where it's a transaction.
Yeah.
Give us your time. Here is the pay, and that's from the organization.
Yeah.
Now, how then do you end up? What helps you connect now with your congregation?
Yeah.
So we have removed the barrier of it's costing you or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How then do you work on your connection with your people?
You know, the thing I've come to discover about church and pastoring, it requires the most intentionality, because it's church relationships are interesting.
Yeah.
I find that people find it easier to build relationships out of church,
Yes.
outside of the church premises. You build relationships easier and quicker with your colleagues than with the churchmates,
fellow
with the
churchgoers. Yeah.
Because it's a sensitive space. Church requires a certain level of vulnerability that I don't think we are sufficiently equipped to show that level of vulnerability. And then there is a misconception that to build connections in the places of church, I need to achieve some certain level of perfection, which in church language we would call holiness, which is to totally miss the point. I mean, I think Jesus Christ sets the example for us of hanging out with people who are very, very far from perfect or holy. And it is through those connections that they are able to grow into the levels of holiness and perfection that he is calling them to. And even then, none of them achieve perfection on this side of eternity. And so the barrier for connection is mostly perfection, and wanting to present ourselves a certain way, which is deception. It's not what Jesus really expects for us. It's not what Christianity really is. And yet we have made it that way.
Yeah.
And so I, as a pastor, need to see that. I need to see that people struggle with that. And as much as it's a place of encouraging them to get out of that, to grow out of that, it's a reality that we have to deal with. It's a reality that as a pastor you have to deal with, and you have to love and to care for people where they are at, and show them that they are accepted for who they are, and they don't have to put on images of perfection, even though they will struggle to once in a while. Creating spaces where there's no judgment. Come as you are, but don't stay the way you are. Come as you are, you'll be accepted, you'll be loved, but don't stay the way you are.
Yeah.
There has to be growth, and a lot of that growth is achieved through the connections you build. And so it requires a further degree of intentionality to connect with people in church.
And then outside of church. Yeah.
Outside of church. Open your home. I tell my congregation, open your home. Let me come. Let's spend some time together.
What's the value of opening your home?
What's the value of opening your home? I think that's where fellowship is built. Sunday, I am with my congregation on Sunday for a maximum of 2 hours. Well, sometimes I preach long sermons, so it extends.
Sometimes they'll hear your voice a lot longer.
They'll hear my voice a lot more.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, sometimes they'll come late, and immediately after the sermon, they'll be in a hurry to leave.
Yeah.
So there is no time for connection. And you find someone can be coming to church and they're a regular attendee of church and they're going through all kinds of things and you don't get to know. You don't get to know because there have just not been moments for connection. And so the value of opening homes is I can visit you and we can have a conversation and I can see where you are. And as a pastor, I would know what you need that a pastor can do in terms of caring for you and helping you. However, I've found that many people struggle also to open their homes. Not many people have good history with church and with pastors. And so it's a struggle for many people. And you can understand. There's trauma, some kind of trauma in that area, because there are, of course, men of God, so-called, who take advantage of people very badly.
And home, I guess, becomes a vulnerable space too.
And home becomes a vulnerable space because this is where you're safe. This is where you raise your children. This is where it's a very intimate space. And so even a pastor is a stranger to that space. And yet I think to connect with your church is a space you need to open up for your pastor so that you can be cared for in a way that Sunday does not provide an opportunity to do.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I recognize and I remember and understand that you work with a team.
Yes.
So even when we are saying pastor here, it's not just you.
It's not just me.
It is your team.
Yes.
As a whole and how they engage with people.
Yeah.
How do you, I don't want to call it quality control, but how do you ensure that those relationships and connections, the personal connections, not the spiritual connections, the personal connections, how do you kind of like ensure or manage the safety of those connections? Because based on what I know about you and the, interaction that we have had, there is a commitment to sort of like heal spaces where church has caused pain. Right? And therefore, I know you connect differently with people. But how do you ensure that the team you're working with is doing the same? Like they're connecting personally as opposed to the spiritual.
Just the spiritual. And it's not that the spiritual is not necessary. It
is necessary. It is an absolute
very important component of this connection. But I think first and foremost, Shalom, we can't connect spiritually if we haven't connected personally. I can't, because spiritual connection is really opening my heart to you. And I need to know that I can trust you and I need to know that I'm safe with you emotionally and even spiritually. And so that begins, the personal connection becomes the pathway to spiritual connection. And so the personal connection has to be healthy. And a way to build, connect personally is we don't see our congregation just as congregation. We train and we have conversations within the pastoral team that friendships are important, even with our congregation. And that there are some kinds of vulnerabilities there where pastors struggle to build friendships with people. And there are conversations within church circles about whether pastors should be friends with their congregations. But I've encouraged the members of my team, build friendships, ensure that the person who's opening their home and their heart to you is a person that can trust you, is that they trust you and that they feel safe with you. And that comes from building friendships that are personal connections more than this. If you go for the spiritual before the personal, you're not going to be very successful. And in fact, you will hit walls more than you will get breakthroughs. We have a lot of conversations about confidentiality. Part of my responsibility is to also train my team to the values of the importance and values of confidentiality, what people share with you in vulnerability and secret. It cannot be shared anywhere else. It cannot be repeated unless you have the express permission of that person to repeat it to someone else, and only so to the limits are to the person they expect you to repeat it to. We have these conversations around our staff table on Wednesday mornings, where we say, what is said on this table and what is said in the homes you visit, that stays between you and the person you visit. And what is said on this table, including about our congregation, it stays on this table. And if we find it out there, that's it's enough ground to fire you, and gladly I have some powers to fire.
Exactly. It better come with a job.
It better come with a job.
Yeah.
So we have trained our pastors on the values of confidentiality and respecting those levels of privacy that people have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, that works, and that's great. But now let's move to the congregation. And I know you don't have the same kind of control.
Yeah.
Because you can't fire a congregant.
You cannot.
So how do you manage that breaching confidentiality when it comes to it's a congregant, where, like what you were saying, that whatever is said there stays there.
Yeah.
But these things come as prayer requests, right?
Yeah.
And somebody has had somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
And then they come and present it to fellow members in the church.
Yeah.
And they think that this is how we are connecting.
Yeah.
On the spiritual.
Yeah.
And they come and say.
And it's gossip.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about how that has happened, how you have faced such challenges, because I don't believe there's any church anywhere without that as a challenge.
Absolutely.
How have you managed to handle those challenges?
People are not going to know or do what they're not taught. They do the things they do mostly because they're not taught and they don't know. And so first and foremost, my responsibility as a pastor is to teach and to talk about, to be open and honest about sin. And part of the problem with breaking confidentiality, the problem of masking gossip in the name of prayer requests, is because really we are not taught around these areas. And so we talk about this, and I have learned the value of demonstrating this to my congregation. But the honest truth, Shalom, is when you have a congregation of 250 people, it's a fishnet. And a fishnet, it's an analogy I like to use because I come from a fishing community.
Fishing community, fisher of men. So
it's a fishnet. And think about a fishnet this way. It catches all kinds of fish.
Yes.
It catches even snakes and things. But it's the hazard a fisherman has to deal. It's the hazard of the job.
Yes.
And because of that, it is you cannot deceive yourself that this is not going to be a problem that we deal with. It is going to be a problem. And I think the most important thing in terms of dealing with it is expecting it to happen. And when you expect it to happen, then you know that in the moment it happens, what do you do? What do you need to do? Who do you need to call out? Which spaces do you need to invite people and have conversations with them? And we have had a situation like this, in fact, very recently in our church, where I have had to call people to a meeting in different groups of people and have these conversations with them and have different conversations with people and tell them, guys, this is not loving. We can't gossip. We can't tear each other and put each other down in the name of we are praying for them, or in the name of whatever we are calling them to account, or whatever. We need to be an environment that thrives on love. And part of love is holding information that is shared with you in privacy, in the place of trust, holding that information with an utmost sense of respect and honor for the people that share this information with. I don't think as a church, as a church in general, in this case, I'm talking about the church generally, I don't think we do a good job of teaching. We preach, and this city has some very good preachers, but there are things we dance around that are harmful, that we don't talk about enough, that we don't teach about enough, and they end up hurting relationships, and people leave churches very hard. And while some of those things are things that could be handled by talking about, the truth is we should expect them.
Yes.
But we shouldn't be comfortable.
We shouldn't be comfortable with them happening. Yeah.
And so what measures do we need to put in place to ensure that they don't?
What are some things specifically that then churches in general need to be talking about to help along?
Yeah. The biggest business of church is discipleship. And I think that needs to be defined. I think discipleship needs to be defined, because I can grow in reading my Bible, in interpreting scripture, in even understanding the Greek word and the Hebrew word for this word. I can grow in that in the space of discipleship. But that's head knowledge, and knowledge puffs up. I think discipleship is about helping people to grow in love. And I think we don't talk about love in church enough. We talk about the love of God. And we talk about for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And we talk about 1 Corinthians 13, all the things that love is patience, love is kind.
Yeah.
But how that is practical, the practicalities of love in the spaces of relationships in church, I don't think we do a good job of speaking about it. That if I take a certain action, I am not being loving. And we don't have good measures of accountability and calling out where someone has done an unloving thing to another.
Okay.
And again, churches also, even leadership of churches, including myself, who is a leader in church, I don't think we do a good job of demonstrating, modeling what love really is. And so when you ask, what do you think, what are the things I think the church should be talking about? I think the church should be talking a bit more about love.
Okay.
I think the church should talk a bit more about love. And when we talk about 1 Corinthians 13, about love being kind, being patient, being honorable, and does not boast, is how do I love you enough to protect you?
Okay.
How do I love you enough to care for you? How do I love you enough to not embarrass you and thing? And I think this is, the church should teach it, but I think it's a fundamental ingredient of any human relationships anywhere, that we owe each other a measure of love that then protects, cares, and builds trust. That I can't take advantage of your vulnerability. I can't take advantage of your broken situation and put you down completely. Instead, a loving thing would be, what do I need to do to build you, to lift you up? But in discipleship, a lot of the conversations we'll have is, have you memorized scripture this week?
Yes.
I can know all the scriptures, but if I am not loving, I am just a clanging cymbal. Going back to that text in 1 Corinthians 13.
Just noise.
Just noise. It's just noise. I think we need to talk a bit more about love in churches. And we need not just to talk about it, but to demonstrate it. Let me tell you something I was thinking about as I was thinking about this conversation. Like I told you, I pastor a congregation of 250, about 250 adults. And one of the things I've had my congregation saying constantly about what they like about Nairobi Chapel South is it's a small community church. You know, you can know everyone, you can easily know everyone and things. But then I make observations. What happens on Sunday? So our services, we have a service that starts at 9 and the other one that starts at 11. Someone will come in at 9:15, driving at 9:15 or at 11:15 or 11:13. And then the service goes up to 12:30, between 12:30 and 1. Immediately we are done preaching. The same person who came at 12:15, at 11:15 or 11:30 will walk out, go into their car and leave.
Yeah.
And yet they have said, this is a small community church where you can know each other.
But they're not taking time to know
But they are not taking time to know each other. And we don't talk enough about how unloving that is. We don't talk enough as a church about how unloving. I'm just concerned about myself. Come in the time I need to come. Walk out when I've received what I need to receive, and I'll come back next Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there was a child in that space that had need that I could pay attention to if I stayed a little longer. Maybe, you know, there's always need. But how can we become aware of need if we are always in a hurry?
Yeah.
And I don't think we teach enough about how unloving that is. Yeah.
I like that angle of unloving where you have actually pointed out the selfishness of showing up, getting what I need, and then leaving. Not just expecting love from the people, but also yourself giving the love.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know, have you worked with a large congregation?
Yeah, I have, but not too long. I was, when I started my internship, my pastoral internship, I was in a large congregation.
Yeah.
I got some experience of what a large congregation is, but I've spent more time with smaller congregations than the large congregation.
Because you'd actually expect that it's easier to disappear and disconnect when you're in a large organization. So I'm surprised to hear that in a small one,
let me tell you,
it still happens.
That's a myth. Unfortunately, people say it's very easy to get lost in a large congregation.
Yes,
it's very easy to hide in a small one.
Tell us more.
It's very easy to hide in a small one because it's a small enough space for you to walk within a very short time from the doors of the church to your car without meeting anyone. It's very easy. You know, the thing about a big church, by the time you walk through a crowd, you have rubbed shoulders very easily with 10 or so people.
Somebody has spotted you.
Someone has spotted you. You stepped on someone's toe and you've stopped to say sorry. But that's not always the case with a small congregation. A small congregation I have made the observation that it's actually easier to hide in a small congregation than it is with a large congregation. A large congregation, there will be interaction because let me tell you another observation I've made. Like you have worked in the children's ministry, and you know how parents go to pick their children.
Don't I know?
Yeah. They know when they go to pick their children, whether they like it or not, if it's 800 children being picked, they will wait.
Yes.
And as they wait, something will happen that they will need to have a conversation about. It's not the same as when you have 20 children. 20 children are very easy to sign out. Within no time, they're all signed out.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for people to finish these things really fast and leave. And so my experience has been, while we think that a small church is a place to find community, people can actually be very lonely and disappear in a small community because the extent of interaction is limited.
Yeah.
It's tinier
Yeah.
than in a big church.
And the pool, I guess, of people to interact with.
The pool of people to interact with is tinier.
Yeah.
There are people who have been in my congregation for 10 years. And I tell you, if I had not been intentional about reaching out to them and knowing them, I would never know them.
Yeah.
They would very easily. Shalom, I kid you not, I chase people down to the parking, tell me your name. And if that's a person, if I didn't do that, nobody would know them.
Yeah.
Nobody would know them except the people they've come from home with.
Okay.
And sometimes they didn't even come together. They were having some conflict.
Drama. And they were okay.
Yeah.
So now let's take that connection out of the church space and into the workplace.
Yeah.
How do you see your congregation and all, or people in general, integrating spirituality into their connections in the home and out of the home, like at work or such like places?
Yeah.
How are they integrating it? And what is the value or lack thereof of spirituality to other human connections, Monday to Saturday?
Yeah, and I think I wonder what spirituality is like. What do we mean by spirituality? Because
what should it mean?
Yeah, because when you talk about spirituality, for many people, it is that I pray.
Okay.
It is that I read the Bible. It is that I wake up in the morning to worship and pray, and that's what spirituality is for many people. But imagine, I think that the measure of spirituality is not in what goes in terms of the reading of the Bible and the prayer and worship, but what comes out. It's a fruit, and Jesus tells us, you will know them by their fruit. So I could spend so much time in those things that I think are spirituality. I could spend so much time in them, but end up as a Pharisee. The Pharisees who lived in the times of Jesus were very self-righteous and self-absorbed, and they prided themselves in keeping the law and memorizing the Torah and all those things.
So that would be the Pharisee, the person who's being self-righteous.
Exactly.
Holier than thou.
Holier than thou.
Yeah.
And what we tend to get from this understanding of spirituality, where it's just about what I do for God, in terms of reading the Bible, and I go to church and I give, I tithe, and I do all these things. The tragedy with that kind of spirituality is very often than not, it ends up into some level of Pharisaic or something, whatever the language is. I think the true spirituality is measured by the fruit, and fruit is measured in relationship. So how do I interpret or integrate what Christ is teaching me in my study of the Bible, in my relationship with you, at work? How and if you're not a believer, how does the testimony of my faith impact your life? Because I could be a believer and I could be doing these things, and I'm really terrible to you. I'm mean, I'm easily angered and easily offended. I am on all the gossip WhatsApp groups on the team. In fact, I'm the number one perpetrator of those things that are very hurtful. So spirituality, I think, should be measured by how we relate. Yes. And how we relate with people outside, especially outside of our communities of faith. Okay. How does my life as a believer inspire someone else to want to come to church and say, hey, I want to find a thing or two about this church that this person goes to, and they are transformed in this way. So
I'm kind of like hearing that I shouldn't be the one saying I am spiritual. Yeah. It is people who would describe me as spiritual.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They see the mango tree does not say I'm a mango tree. It's people who look at it and say, oh, that's a mango tree. You know, but the mango tree has the work that needs to be done on the mango tree has been done for it.
Mangoes.
It's just producing mangoes.
Yeah.
And so if you are going to be a mango producer, then I have to do the work of producing the mangoes, and then the mango tree does not eat the mango.
Okay, mango tree does not eat the mango. Okay.
Someone benefits from that.
Yes.
So fruitfulness is only important and necessary if it is a blessing to other people. My spirituality is only impactful if it is a blessing to other people. Jesus says in Mark 12:30, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And then he says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. You know, so, by the way, that's a very interesting text of scripture, because the way we think about it is Jesus is saying, love yourself first. Love yourself first. And then by the measure with which you love yourself, love your neighbor.
Yeah.
What Jesus is actually saying is, you already love yourself too much. Love another person.
Love another person. This is not about you.
This is not about you. Love another person. And I think spirituality can be measured by how we love other people. Yeah. Whether that is in church or in the workspace or in a matatu.
Yeah.
You know, what you do with a matatu driver who cut into you in the morning, in a queue in a supermarket, and someone is coming and they're in need of help, but you're in a hurry to leave and get ahead. Yeah. And that's I feel like that's a big struggle. Spirituality is a big struggle for the Kenyan society.
Yeah.
Even though we are 80% Christian.
That's a whole other topic.
It's a whole other conversation
of what it means to be 80% Christian as a church, as a community. And then we are not actually seeing.
No, we are not seeing the fruit. We're not seeing the fruit of Christianity.
Yeah. Okay. Now, much as you're telling us spirituality will be, other people should be the one referring to our spirituality.
Yeah, it's observed.
Yeah. But it still has a role in how well we do.
Yeah.
In terms of our well-being.
Yes.
What do you think is the importance of, yes, I don't need to be saying I'm spiritual, but I need to be walking a spiritual journey. And then based on what you have explained, you have talked about showing love, right?
Yeah.
What's the value or benefit of that to our own personal well-being? Yeah. Especially psychologically, everything else. So I'm doing well spiritually.
Yeah.
What's the importance of that to social well-being, physical well-being, emotional, psychological of an individual?
Of an individual. I actually think, Shalom, that to be unloving, unkind, selfish is actually an indication of the lack of well-being, if I can use that word, that you're not doing well. That when the moment you become more irritable, selfish, so self-absorbed, I think it's an indication that you're not doing very well, and something needs to be done. So yes, spirituality in that case is a measure of our well-being. And as much as loving other people and they observe our spirituality is the taste of true spirituality, it is also the test of how well we are doing mentally, spiritually, and otherwise. Yeah. And going back to the disciplines I was talking about, like prayer and prayer, reading scripture, I think those are fuel. It's a prayer and reading scripture and worship. They're fuel, but you put fuel in your car so it can move. You can burn and move, and it can move you from one place to another. Yeah.
So in other words, what are you reading scripture for?
What are you praying for? What are you praying for? How are these things impacting you for you? Even before they have an impact for the community around you. Because we will know that Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the Bible and your prayer are, making an impact in you and you are transforming into a better person by how you relate. But first, you have to be a better person for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be a better person. You have to be kind with yourself. You have to be at peace with yourself. And so that you can give it.
Yes.
Going back to my mango tree analogy, the mango tree produces mangoes for others.
Yes.
But it has to be healthy.
Yeah.
For it to produce mangoes for others. If it's unhealthy, no one else benefits. Even if we irrigated it and put manure and whatever, unless the mango tree is healthy for itself, in itself, it's not going to produce mangoes that others are going to benefit from. And so that's important, that we are healthy for ourselves. So we are able to produce fruit that others may see and glorify God because of our spirituality.
Okay.
But I believe 100% that our spirituality and our relationship with others in expressing that spirituality is an important indicator of our well-being. But that starts with our fueling ourselves.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying several things. First and foremost, what I have gotten is we need to love each other, and we need to show that love in a way that is not self-serving, but is reaching out to other people. But you cannot do this if you're not taking care of yourself and growing using these other disciplines that are there. So when you pray, when you read the Bible, when you spend time contemplating on whatever it is that you've read, that is not just supposed to fill you, it's supposed to extend to other people. And therefore, if you're doing those things, you don't even need to be talking about them. You need to be living them. So then when other people look at you, they then describe you as spiritual. But that doesn't mean that you don't pay attention to it. The other thing that I have had is that this is a kind of thing that will contribute to and impact all your other elements of well-being. So really, if we are not seeing you doing well in one area, it will be an indicator that you're actually not doing well in all other areas of your life. So even as you grow spiritually, do not use that as an excuse to connect only at one level. Because as Pastor Olunga has told us, you cannot connect personally. You cannot connect spiritually if you haven't started with a personal connection, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you
for that part of the conversation. I almost feel as though it's just part one.
Oh, really?
And like there should be part two where we can break down a few other things. But one of the ways in which we also connect is through games. And I know that your church does that. Right? So I'll invite you to play a game with us.
Okay.
And you can't rig it here so that you can start preaching. I will almost say, I wish I could remove word versus word.
Okay.
However, spin the wheel, and whatever category it is that you land on, we shall pick a card.
Okay.
Corresponding card.
Okay.
And you shall do whatever it is that the card says.
All right.
Yes.
Here we go.
He was looking like he was about to ring it.
Yeah, it was about...
okay, speed is like... Where is it? It looks like...
on... if
not now.
Now, when? Is that it?
That's a very popular one.
That's a popular one?
All right, so...
Where is it?
Take
if
that.
Not now, when?
Don't take the one on top.
Oh, I take...
You can shuffle them.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take this one. What are the three things you wish, I guess me, I guess the question is, I wish I could be told about now instead of later? What are the three things you wish you could be told about now instead of later?
That's a question that I think many pastors would grapple with. But
that's a question
ahead.
Many pastors would grapple with. I don't want people to come to my funeral and say how great of a man I was. Yeah.
You wish you could hear that now.
I wish I could hear that. If I'm great, I'm great. Now,
don't wait for me to die.
Yeah, don't wait for me to die. If I'm great now, I'm great now. I want to hear people say, I love you. I want to hear people celebrate. I want people to say I love you, and I think our society needs to say I love you a bit more. I know I've answered that in a general, but it also it applies. It applies to me. Another thing is because relationships are there is a multitude of offense. Offense is commonplace in relationship.
Yeah.
Don't wait until my mistakes have multiplied before you point them out to me. If I have offended you, tell me, and tell me what you think I can do better in this relationship for the betterment of its future.
Yeah.
If we wait until later, the relationship is just bound to break.
Okay.
And it's not helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So I love you. You are great. And this is feedback. This is how you are wrong.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
May we keep having more of this?
Absolutely.
It's been an honor.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be here with you. And I'm so glad that you're doing this.
Yes. All right. Awesome. So thank you all. See you soon.